Hey guys, I just wanted to do a video about for those who are for those of you who are artists, for those of you who are because my channel is called the Virtuoso, so I've always said virtuosos can be found in music, writing, dancing, sports, um, any chess, any music, of course, any achievement that is known to man. But um, I caught a surprising podcast today that was talking about because I'm a writer, so I'm more focused on the writing. So it was talking about is the era of the modern author dead? Um, Literally, because they were talking about some artificial intelligence that can be coming, and you insert a word, a comma, a paragraph, a question, a sentence, and they can respond to you like in a nanosecond, and you can inscribe an idea, and they can develop it artificially. So it was, but that was just the first part. Again, that won't come until, yeah, it's beginning, but will it ever feel like a real human being, like real creation, like real art? I doubt it. But again, I may be wrong. But the part that I was most interested in was um, for real human writers. And again, for all the changes that are happening with the movie industry and the book industry, and with everything going simultaneously digital, for movies, for books, for deals, for uh, getting your project financed, getting your project off the ground, for all those things. Is it still possible? Is it still not? It's possible, no doubt. It's possible because it's happening every day. But is it still possible for authors, which with authors with self-respect? And by authors with self-respect, I will name authors who are legitimate, who have original ideas, who are developing something they created on their own. Of course, you are always inspired by something, someone, maybe 5 centuries ago, maybe 2 years ago. You will always be inspired, of course. It's like an inception. No idea is without inspiration, of course, of course. But that I was thinking about it, and I was because both side of the dice were writers, and they were um, juggling on the this notion of is the true author dead, like the true book author, like Stephen King, or name whatever name you want. Like, of course, there are the big ones that will never be um, out of business, like the George R. R. Martins and well, whatever you want to name. Of course, they are still very relevant, and we don't need to. They'll be okay. They have millions of dollars. They'll be okay. But for us, for the next generation, which I come from, and which in which I try to pierce the skin and to try to make a name for myself. So, and I'm sure there are thousands around the world like me, like like edition book companies are always telling me, look, we receive like 500 manuscripts a day, like we can't we can't even make a refuse anymore. We can't even promise a refuse letter because we have so much volume of content. So that's what I want to address in a, not, I hope not too long video. um, so what do you think? I mean, do you do you still feel good reading your because it's the same thing. Do you still feel good having your DVDs and your Blu-rays, and do you still buy them, or do you still? Of course, there's nothing wrong about reading digital. It just saves paper. On my part, I think it's a good thing. Save paper, save trees. Nothing against that, because you're still paying your due for the author's work. Might be less, might be cheaper, but I see nothing wrong with it. I think it's a great avenue. I feel worse for comic books because comics are a lot more. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about comic books. I don't know comic books. But from what I know, they're a lot more hard to put on the market. And because writing is just black and white or whatever color you choose, so it's quite a little simpler than having complicated drawings and so on and so forth. So yeah, so is the traditional author dead in our time, or will he be dead before we pass? And I found the idea very interesting. And by the way, thank you for all the viewers from my battle with fatal insomnia. It's my most successful video on the channel. So thank you very much. I hope you found something that serves you, that can help you. And again, if you have any, again, I'm not a healthcare professional, but if I can help in any way, um, just send me your questions and I will make a video about it. So thank you. Now, for the topic of today, are traditional authors on pen and paper with original ideas, who doesn't come from an IP, who doesn't come from a who only comes from their mind, from their own resources, from their own lives, from their own imagination. Is it worthless? Is it worthless to try? Because from where I stand, it's been a year and still no answer. And I know big companies have other problems, but um, yeah, just let's just start with that idea. Is the traditional author dead? Um, I think I always make a parallel with cinema because the closest to writing we can get everywhere, often every day with a large volume, is TV and cinema, because there has to be scripts, there have to be writers. Without writers, there wouldn't be any TV or any cinema. So that's why I always jump between both. So, um, and we've seen that with movies, um, the age of independent movies is closing off. I mean, I don't know who, if you're not a Brad Pitt or a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Timothée Chalamet or I mean one of the big stars. I don't think you can get a project off the ground. I'm still waiting to see a lot of the movies that they made this year, but Babylon with Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie in a movie together, and it made no money, no money at all. Nobody was interested. It blows my mind. So much talent, like I don't know what the fuck happened. Um, Pure flop, pure flop. It's crazy. Um, but apart from the movies, I'll keep to the writing. Sorry, my mind's going. It's a huge topic. My mind's going quickly, quickly, quickly. Jump, jump, jump. But from the straight up authors with their keyboards and screen. All they have is a keyboard and a screen and letters. That's all the power they have. That's all the power we have. And for creating stories that are unique, appealing, um, right for the time, right for the station of the audience, uh, right to not be in competition with someone similar, right for so many reasons and so many wrong and so many good reasons and blah blah blah. I mean, of I mean, we have to ask the question: is the age of the real authors ended with, may it be AI or authors that make a lot of money with a concept? And no, I'm not talking about a good idea. I'm not talking about a good setup or a good story or full fledged characters that we want to pursue in their individual lives. I'm talking about cliches and easy, like easy characters, easy because okay, I'll tell you what's on my mind. Fuck it. I could never understand for the life of me, and it's been a lot of years. But the book Mortal Engines, a steampunk novel, who was adapted by Peter fucking Jackson. Peter Jackson, who made Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. He had complete, I can say in all certainty, he had complete and utter freedom to choose what project he wanted to do next. And a few years later, he threw It throws in our face Mortal Engines, a story of a post apocalypse, moving cities like on wheels that battle each other or whatever the fuck. Makes no sense at all from an engineering point of view, but we'll pass that. Of course, who cares about engineering and reality and whatever? It's steampunk. It's steampunk. All right, I get it. It's steampunk. But there's a way to do steampunk right, but I won't get into that because it would be too fucking obvious. Peter Jackson, what the fuck were you thinking? And I saw the movie first, and I said, well, I can't believe it's a movie by Peter Jackson because it sucks. Even though the Hobbit trilogy sucked hard, there was still qualities in it. There was still some level of love, some level of something. It was no Lord of the Rings, but it was it was something. So then I see Mortal Engines, and I said, "Oh, Hugo Weaving returns. Hugo Weaving is in this. Hey, Hugo Weaving is one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, Aaron Smith in The Matrix, V for Vendetta. I mean, this guy is crazy talented. He's crazy, crazy. And I mean, watch the movie, you'll see he didn't need to be there, but whatever. So my point is, I watched the movie, sucked, so I went by, and it worked on me, and it threw a hole in my heart, and it said, why did Peter Jackson, from all he could do, why did he chose this? Why? Oh, it's because of the novel, like Lord of the Rings. Maybe it was a difficult novel to adapt. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was that. Maybe blah 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 blah. So what do I do? I go to the um, I go to the library, take up the book, read it, and for the life of me, I don't remember the author. I don't want to remember it. And to be blunt, it's one of the fucking worst novels I have ever read. It is clunky, it is cliche, it has no character arcs, no intelligible story. All it has is a concept of cities on wheels. That's all it has. Nothing else. I don't see the appeal for Hollywood. I certainly don't see the appeal for Peter Jackson. And all I can say is it's a goddamn shame. Because, of course, the movie lost a bunch of money because it sucked. It never made any sequels because it sucked. And what has Peter Jackson done since then? Nothing. So it's all those details that, and it was again. It was some. I should take it up, but I'm sure it's at least 10 years old, and it's for me a good example of where of the topic we're discussing, of where the real author goes, where are the real creators, the real um, shaping figures of novels and cinema, and because they're all interlocuted, it's interlocked. If you make a great novel, chances are, I mean, we have 50 Shades of Grey, for Christ's sakes. Made three movies on this shit. We have Twilight, we have Mortal Engines, we have The Hobbit, that was a tiny book which made three large movies. It's like there are no limits anymore. So what the fuck is going on? So I was asking myself this, and I was telling myself, well, yeah, that enters right in the discussion about real authorship, real creative ingenuity, and real um, writing. Um, how can I say? Real writing power, real writing um, credibility. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Real writing credibility. Because I don't care if your books, because of course every author wants to be cut up by Hollywood. I think most authors want that. I don't care if it's for $1 million or for $50 million or for 100 or for $50,000. I don't care what it is. Authors make authors put words on paper to make money. They do it by passion. They do it by ingenuity and intelligence, and with the greatest imagination possible. They tell it because they have the dream of sharing this story with the world. But at the end of the day, if Hollywood can pick up the receipt and pay for it, and it makes, I mean, visualizing your vision of a story on screen without you having to do nothing just because people have paid for it. It's crazy. It's crazy good. It must feel. I cannot imagine a better feeling than sitting in a cinema and watching your novel on a screen. It's my dream. It's my lifelong dream. I can never think of something more um, cathartic than that. It's absolutely insane. So of course Hollywood would still rattle the cages for whatever is admissible in Hollywood and what it can adapt. But returning to the topic of is the is the age of the author, the true author, the old school author that just want to write from the heart and write good characters with personalities, with arcs, with challenges, with deceit, with love and passion and fighting, and for queen and country, for imagination, for the love of their lives, for anything at all that can join that. I mean, where is the passion? Where's the passion anymore? I don't see it. I see it in books that were written, 100 years ago, but I don't see today. Today I see historical meh books with characters that have no real personality, and it kills me because I have a dream. I have a dream, and I cannot understand on the publishing level why so many authors are rejected again and again. I don't know if it's because of COVID. It might have played. It is surely have played a lot of the reasons why. Because a lot of publishing houses are closed because they have received too much material. They cannot deal with it, and I understand that, of course, because what better time to write than in COVID? But now that the world has reopened, we're still gashing upon an open wound. And I mean, what my only question is why what will be necessary for this wound to heal and for people to big houses or even small houses. I don't care. I don't do this to be a millionaire. I do this to sustain my craft. And all I want is to live by my craft like anybody. I don't, I mean, a nurse goes work goes working to the hospital as a nurse, and she's paid for her craft. It's the same thing. It's not because, and maybe she's better than me because she saves people lives, or he saves people lives all the time, and doctors, and of course, I could go on and on. Same thing with engineers, same thing with teachers, and philosophers, and whatever it is. But for those of us who are artists and musicians, and for those who want to make our make our clients make our clients or those who are kind enough to pay money to see our art or to experience our art, and all that we want for them is transcendence. And I know it's a bad movie with Johnny Depp. I'm not talking about that. Transcendence, because we want to accompany the viewer or the reader in some kind of trance, because we want to bring him on the edge of a story that will completely lift his feet off the ground or her feet off the ground. That's what we want to create as writers, poets, creators, artists of any kind. That's all we want. So, my final question to you all is: this age dead? Has this age passed? Is it too late to try to reinvent, create something drastically new? Is it too much to ask for the people, for them to trust us with this mission? I mean, because if they only leave us a chance to amaze them, I'm sure that I'm sure I can do it, but I'm sure a lot of other people out there can do it equally or better than me. So that's it. Half an hour is enough. That's all I want to say. That's the only idea I want to um, adapt for this video. So, of course, as always, guys and gals, um, I'm very, very interested in the comments on this video because um, it's very close to my heart. And I'm sure if you're an artist from any specificity or any category, any skill, you will understand that too. But writing is has become a lot more depleted recently due to again a lot of superheroes and a lot of low level. I mean, it started with Twilight, and I mean, I could go on, but you know what I mean, like a low tier level, like bullshit, like easy access, easy money, just beautiful people, fucking beautiful people, and their empires. So let's create a fascination for these characters, and let's cast good viewing people, good looking people, and I mean, erasing completely the myth of vampires, of real vampires, and it's like it's such a goddamn shame. And yeah, I should do a video of how I see it because vampires are very. I'm really interested in writing vampires, but I don't think it's something that can go on these days with all that crap lurking around. So yeah, so thanks for experiencing this back and forth. I'm sure I'm trying just to create a back and forth idea or reset in your mind, just trying to know what you think about these ideas and those topics. So, as always, leave comments. I answer all my comments. And if you're an artist, if you're a virtuoso of your kind, please continue to do your art. You are appreciated. And whatever the common folk, whatever people that don't know better say of you, tell you you're this and that, and you will never be this, and you'll never be that. Always follow your heart and follow your passion. And so yeah, thanks guys for watching, and take very good care.